I tip my hat to you. Top of the morning.
Top of the morning to you. Patrick Mahomes is going to win another Super Bowl.
Oh, contraire.
Tell me, you like the Bills quarterback, don't you?
I do, and I think if any year at all that team is beatable, Kansas City, I think this is the year they're beatable.
Yeah, I would maybe agree with that, but I am not going to count Mahomes out until he doesn't do it.
Well,
That is to say,
yeah, you're right. I mean, you can't ever count him out. You can't. However, for the purposes and spirit of this conversation, and it's not even that I like Josh Allen so much because there's something. I don't know. It's almost like there's something missing for me with Josh Allen, and I like him a lot. I think he's fabulous, but that second half always seems to be elusive to him. And I don't know what it is that's missing for me, but something is where I can't go all in on him, but I'd like to.
yeah, I mean, he's great. Is he Mahomes level? Probably not.
He can play better than Mahomes.
He also probably doesn't have the supporting cast around him, although their offensive line's very good.
Yeah. And you love to hate Travis Kelce, but I mean the guy's just there all the time. He turns up, he shows up. Number 2 ever to Jerry Rice. I mean, pretty big accomplishments. What I don't like about this whole Patrick Mahomes thing is all this rhetoric about him being protected by the refs. That I can't stand hearing that.
Can I tell you something? I'm glad you said that. My son, who is 13, or my twins are 13, him and his friends, they buy into the flavor of the week. They buy into whatever's on social media or whatever they see or whatever kids joke about. In that whole world, the teenage boy world who likes the NFL and all that, they're 100% bought into like the pictures with the refs with the red stripes, you know what I mean, that are playing for like kids have come to believe that. And a lot of people have come to think that they're in the pockets of the Kansas City Chiefs. And that bothers me too. You kind of make your own luck. And when you're really good, you make your own luck. And I think too many people are perpetuating that, and it's a falsehood.
Well, it's not just a falsehood in concept. It's actually, when I looked at the 2 calls again and I watched the game, it's literally an error for people to say they weren't bad hits. They were bad hits. And they said, well, it didn't hit him in the face. Yes, it did. It didn't hit him in the chest and then travel up. He hit him head to head. Bam. He was going out of bounds. He threw him on the ground. I mean, come on, man. We want to find a reason that we don't like Patrick Mahomes. Why is that? I mean, the kid's great. He may, if they do it this year, he may go on to surpass everything Tom Brady did.
Oh, I said this 3 years ago. It was probably around the pandemic time, actually. Patrick Mahomes' ceiling is, and it's attainable, is the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yes, I agree with that.
And I don't think anybody else playing in the league right now, their ceiling is the greatest at their position of all time.
I agree with that 100%. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Tell me about the play.
The play that when he was, as he was going down, hits Kelce in the end zone for the touchdown.
Oh,
and he's halfway down. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
He doesn't just hit Kelce in the end zone.
Yeah.
He hits him with a throw with velocity. Perfect. And on a line and on a strike.
Yeah.
His wizardry with the ball, particularly under duress, is not something we've seen.
Yeah, I agree.
It just is. Bad day for Ford Motor Company with the Lions getting bounced.
Yeah, I can't figure that out.
Neither can I.
I mean, man, that's terrible. I'll tell you, they were a lock for me. If there was anything for sure in the playoffs, it was them for me.
It pains me to agree with you. I say that all the time.
You do say
I was 100% on board with you. Like The one game I looked at from this past weekend that I just didn't even give a second thought to was, oh yeah, Lions are going to beat Washington. No problem at all. Lions are good. They're playing at home. They have the energy of years and years and years of all this. Like, it's a lock.
The most expensive ticket in their history. I think their average ticket price was $850. The demand was to the moon. It's just, I can't believe it. But now, so Ben Johnson leaves.
Right.
I mean, I think they're going to have a hard time now maintaining that.
I would not be stunned if Antoine Randall becomes their offensive coordinator.
Oh, that would be so dumb. That would be dumb. And he was a friend of mine. I haven't talked to him for so long, but where is he now?
He's their receivers coach.
Yeah, no, that would be so bad. No, that's not going to perpetuate success.
No,
it's just not. But Ben Johnson for Chicago was a great choice. I think he'll do really well. So where do we go? What happens here?
In Pittsburgh?
The inevitable conversation. What happens?
Well, everything stems from the decision at quarterback, and that needs to be made. It doesn't need to be made officially, but it needs to be made in the back room, like today, what they're doing, because everything, comes off of that. If you go ahead and you say, well, Justin Fields is going to be our quarterback, then you need to build athletically. If you say we're going to throw some money at Russell Wilson, which is a lot of money, I don't know if they're going to do that, then what you need to do is you say, all right, then we're going to go more pro style, do some things like that, and run it back kind of exactly the same. So that decision is the very first one, personnel-wise, what you're going to do, because everything flows off of it.
Colin, as a member of the media, have you been notified? When does Art Rooney speak to the media?
He generally talks and does a year-ender with people with no cameras allowed. You're just allowed to take notes, and that happens in the next week or two.
Yeah, I think a lot will be discovered when we hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I actually think they're going to go with Fields.
I think there's more structural things that are important too. What happens with the defensive coordinator? What happens with the offensive coordinator? Here's a guy getting head coach offers. Why? How could you get a head coach offer to an offensive coordinator that absolutely tanked the last 6 games of the year? Why would you give him a chance to be a leader? He doesn't deserve that yet. He may at some point. And, we deified him in this city when the Steelers were 4-2. But at 4-2, you had a different team. And again, so it goes back for me. I don't know what we will hear from Art Rooney because I'm not sure what they have identified as the problem.
Well, I think the book got out and the Steelers never made any transitional moves or never did anything different from once after the first couple games of Russell Wilson, it sort of remained the same. They never evolved.
Well, so then you have to look at the personnel, and I look at Najee. I'm just not the guy that says Najee is the kind of back we need. Mike Tomlin said after one of the games, if 4th and 1 you can't get a yard after 3 tries, you deserve to lose. And we couldn't get that. We couldn't do that. When you hit Najee, he's certainly not Saquon. He's not even, of course, the kid in Detroit. What's his name?
The running back in Detroit, right? Yeah, he's not that strong. He doesn't run like that.
He's unbelievable. But we need a back like that, and I don't believe it's Warren either. I think we need that, and I think that we have. And Saquon has really proved the value of a running back, and I think that some of the other ones do too. So I don't know. Is it the offensive line? Is it the personnel in the specialty positions? What is it? What's the problem? Why did we turn completely around and go from 4-2 to lose the next 6 games? Why?
Well, I just think, again, I'll say it. I just think overall that's what they are. And over the course of 17 games,
But,
that's
but
their
Greg,
record.
if they would have sprinkled a couple wins in there and they ended up with that record, okay. But they didn't sprinkle wins. They went on a downhill. Just they were, man. How could you go 6 games and not win one? How?
Oh, I'm with you. I don't know. I wish I had the answers. I don't think they ever evolved or got better after like Halloween. They
I mean,
just
I just
never
want to
did.
tell you that. I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, I say this about the Pittsburgh Pirates. Let me coach a game. Put me in the locker room one time. Just let me have an opportunity to speak, and I guarantee you they'll come out of that locker room and they're going to win. I guarantee it, 100% guarantee it. And sometimes I think that with the Steelers, when I watch the Mike Tomlin Hard Knocks, I can't believe that Mike Tomlin was the last voice they heard when they left that locker room, because Mike Tomlin's very inspirational.
Right?
And there was no inspiration at all. And no, they want to deny what Kirk Herbstreit said. They want to deny that. He said it. He meant it. We all saw it. These Steelers they were not prepared. Physically, maybe, mentally, maybe. I don't know. But
Well, I see something and have seen it for 4 or 5 years, and that the messaging is stale, everything is stagnant, and it's time for a total overhaul with the organization, but they refuse
said
to
that
see
last
it.
year. We said it last year.
I said it for 4 or 5 years. And
We did.
it's
Last year we did. We were excited. We got I was never really excited about Arthur Smith anyway, um but we were, right? So they want to go back to that old style Steelers. This isn't the old style Steelers. This isn't 1973. It's not 1990. It's not. This is 2025.
Do you know the way I've put it? And I think this is the best way that I could think of it. The Pittsburgh Steelers are an Eaton Park super burger. And by that, I mean this. It's never the worst hamburger you've ever had, but it's never going to win Michelin stars either. And for your grandpa, that was good enough. You get that Eaton Park super burger and it satisfies you and it tastes good and whatever. And it's never awful. But hamburgers have reinvented themselves and become gourmet and done different things over the past 10 or 15 years, especially. And a super burger, again, is never the worst meal you'll have, but it's never the best either. It's just, that's good enough. And the Steelers are resigned to be an Eaton Park super burger. Just good enough. They don't aspire to win Michelin stars, and it's okay that nobody ever says, that's awful. They're fine right there. Honestly, because that was good enough for your grandpa when he got out of working, 10 hours at J&L.
I'm not sure the analogy
Yes.
is one that I would agree with, but the result is, I mean, I understand what you're saying. And I think we try, really, if you look at our population in this city, it's an old population.
Yes. What do we got? 330,000 people in the city proper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the oldest populations in the country. And I think that reflects what our expectations are. We want to live in the past. We want to talk about Franco Harris's why? Well, I mean, that's history, man. Put behind you. The old style Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, what? Run the ball. This is 2025, folks. Run the ball. Doesn't work. Okay. It absolutely works if you have the right running back and the right balance, right?
Yes.
But the number one thing, and I think Mike Tomlin says it too, mobility in a quarterback. All you had to do was watch those 4 teams in the AFC playoff games last week. All you had to do is watch them, watch all the playoff games, and you can clearly see mobility in a quarterback position today is the way you win games.
Well, you also see speed on offense, especially in the middle of the field. If you watch 10 plays in each of those games, the Steelers don't look like they play in the same league because of speed in the middle of the field. on offense.
And even when we were 4-2, we didn't do that.
Right.
We had one game, where we scored over 40 points, and we might have resembled that a little bit. And I can't remember if we did or not, but we had one receiver. We had George Pickens, but yet, I mean, so it's just such a blend, personnel, structure. I mean, it's not one thing. I think it's many things.
Right. And Pickens won't be back for a second contract. There's no way.
I think it would be a mistake.
Nah, he's not coming back. There's no way. There's no way that it's going to happen. They're not going to do it.
It would really be a mistake, I think. And so now you're looking for a 1 and 2 receiver.
Correct.
You're looking for a running back.
Yes.
You're going to tell me Jalen Warren. I think he's a great number 2.
And essentially, you're looking for a quarterback still.
And a quarterback. But I really think that the conversation with Art Rooney, and I really would like to see Mike Tomlin address this more and really understand what the problem is with these Pittsburgh Steelers for the past how many years. What is the problem? And you can't really say, well, 5 years ago we didn't win, because these aren't the same players that they were. These 53 people are not. I mean, what do you have? Maybe 5 to 6 that might be the same people. So they're not the same people. What's the problem?
Yeah, I wish I had an answer.
If I took it off air and just said to you, me and you were sitting there having a beer.
Right.
I don't drink, but that's okay.
Me either.
You don't?
No, not anymore.
Okay. Yeah,
the hangovers were too much.
Oh,
I felt too bloated.
Mine is much more simple reason. I just don't like the taste of alcohol.
Oh, well, that's fair.
And I don't like not being in control. As those around me would tell you, I'm a control freak.
Yeah, seems like it. Anyway, so if we took the conversation off air, what would the conversation be?
The question would be, what really happened? What's the true Steelers problem?
The head coach. The atmosphere. They thought that this is good enough, and he's not held accountable for what's gone on in the last 5 years, the last 10 years.
But don't you think he holds himself accountable?
Yeah, my kid holds himself accountable too and wants to do better. But if there's no punishment coming, then what's the true accountability?
That's fair. That's fair. But there's something to be said for a 1-loss record. And that's what they seem to care about, which stability gets you that, right? But it's not going to win you the Super Bowls. I mean, when was the last time we won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean,
when was it?
18 years ago, 16 years ago, whatever.
And the first time we won a Super Bowl after establishment in 1933, we never won a Super Bowl till when? 74, 73?
Yeah, the first one, Super Bowl 9 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Against the Vikings.
So there we go. We're back to that long dry spell.
Right.
And
it is.
We're okay with that. So I don't know why we're okay with it. I
don't
know why we're okay with not even building an indoor stadium. I mean, talk about old school. Why didn't we build a dome stadium?
I would have put a retractable roof on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, something. I mean, come on. Come into the year 2025, for God's sake.
We'll see what happens. So you're not sold on the Chiefs totally?
No, I'm not. I'm going to tell you, I have a surprise pick.
The Bills and Washington in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Serious?
Yep.
That'd be something.
That's it. Yep. I think this kid at quarterback is, I mean, man, he does everything.
Who, Daniels?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't see him losing. I really don't. And you talk about somebody with the potential to be fabulous in the future. He's fabulous right now.
He's super.
I mean, I would love to see him do it. I really would. Break all the paradigms, break everything. This is the guy comes in rookie year, wins a freaking Super Bowl.
I think they have a great fan base too, who absolutely has
Yeah.
died for a winner there in Washington, and a pretty good fan base. I actually like their fans
What's the head coach's name?
in Washington.
Yeah.
The guy that took over for Ron Rivera.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. You put me on the spot a lot. Can I be honest? I really don't follow sports all that much anymore, Richard.
Well, I'm making you do that because you're one of the brightest sports minds I know.
I know. I just turn the games on here and there. I'll be frank with you.
Yeah. I don't remember his name, but you see the difference though one person makes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what my dad used to tell me?
What's that?
My dad used to tell me businesses fail. When businesses fail, the business didn't fail. People fail. Businesses don't fail. People fail. Same thing. You could have, when I got here in this dealership, however many years ago it was really not doing, it was struggling. Year one, we became number one. Am I patting myself on the back? Maybe a little bit, but I could go down the street 3 blocks and show you a restaurant that had 4 different owners in the past 5 years. And then bam, it's on fire now. Why? It wasn't the restaurant location. It wasn't anything. It was the people.
Right.
So, I think what I'm saying is supporting what you say and what you think. We need some changes. We need people changes because like Ron Rivera was in Washington, complete loser. Brand new head coach. He's on track for the freaking Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Businesses don't fail. People fail.
All righty. Well, next week at this time, we'll have Super Bowl participants. So go from there.
I can't wait. So who are your choices? You didn't tell me.
I actually think Washington's going to get through, and I think that Kansas City is. And Kansas
City, yeah.
Yeah.
Kansas City is a wild card. I actually hope they do because I want to see all the Patriot records broken.
Yeah, not bad. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I do.
So
I think Tom Brady is the worst TV host I've ever heard.
Yeah, I don't honestly. TV people don't make or break it for me. Like,
oh, I can't listen to him. Okay, KB or whatever he calls the guy. What's the guy? What's his name? KB.
Yeah, the guy that he works with. Yeah,
it's so patronizing.
It is.
Tom, just stay the pretty boy. Get a date. Get married. Forget the rest of it.
All righty. Well, Super Bowl next week. We'll have participants.
Can't wait.
I'll talk